It is 9 a.m. here in Los Angeles. And it is Monday. Everybody loves Mondays. November 10th, AD 2025. Hello to Pastor Shadowley, raiding the stream over there. JC Lee, raiding the stream. I'm live on BitChute. Hello to the, oh, by the way, shout out to the JLP show members, by the way. Let me open things up and say hello to the people in the live chat who are watching right now. Thank you kindly, y'all. Much appreciated. But and shout out to the podcast listeners, the people who catch afterwards. Also cool. Very nice. The views and attitudes here do not represent Bond or JLP or Hake or anybody. Not Anchor Baby, not Derek, the producer, black producer of the J.C. Lee Peterson Show. Not anything. All right? So take everything that you hear, think, see, interpret, etc. with a grain of salt. People are ridiculous nowadays. I was watching these clips on the internet because, you know, there's all this drama going on over on the so-called right wing right now, right? It's ridiculous. And it's just a bunch of people interpreting each other and misinterpreting each other and stuff. It's crazy. Relax. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? Why not be gracious? I guess people don't know that being gracious is better. Better for all involved. You know? So, whatever. But you can call in. You can super chat. The call-in number, as you may know, probably know, is 888-775-3773. That's 888-77-JESSE. And the super chat ways is, I don't know, there's YouTube, Rumble, Cash App, James Anton Hake on Cash App. Although I'm liable to miss the Cash App one for several days, okay? I've done it before. So don't take it personally if it happens to you. And buymeacoffee.com/The Hake Report, Ko-fi, Ko-fi.com/The Hake Report, and YouTube, hey. And of course, the redheaded stepchildren of the D Live crew. And of course, pill.net. What's up to Neo? Sometimes raids the stream. Very nice, much appreciated. But anyway, everybody, I think that I'm pretty well set to go. So let's just get right on with the show.
1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
Hey guys!
Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la. Oh, it's the Hake Report. The Hake Report. La la la.
So, how y'all doing? I'm fine. I'm wearing a Yellowstone shirt. Is that where that guy died? The guy who did in that girl? His girlfriend? Maybe I'm confusing it with, like, that place up in, like, NorCal or wherever. Remember that gal, the missing white girl syndrome gal? Oh, man, it's on the tip of my tongue. Look, beautiful, what is this? Manhattan Beach, Hermosa Beach, something like that? Very nice. There's like a trail up at the top of the... Anyway. Oh, Lord. Have mercy. Yeah, so watch out. Watch out. These national parks. Evil things happen even on the national parks. It's a shame. You know? It is. I'd like to get to William 7 out of California here before I get into some of the stories that I'd like to touch. Oh, William the Third. Thank you, sir. William the Third.
Hey, how was your weekend?
It was good. How about yours?
All right, pretty good.
Nice.
All right, first of all, see that the Dems caved.
Yeah.
And, we're going to go have, what is it, seven seats walked across the aisle to the Republicans. And what that does, the advantage down the line is a long game. It fractures those seats. So maybe 5 out of the 7 will get probably flipped. So it turned out all right. And I see the economy going to get better because the ACA was not good. It was basically taxing all the taxpayers in the country to provide something that didn't work, and it was too expensive. And they said it was cheaper, and it wasn't. So
right. It was a lie. He lied
yeah.
at every turn that he could. Obama, a huge liar for the destruction of the country. Not even lying for the good of the country, if there's such a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the ACA wasn't good, or what do they call it? Obamacare.
Yeah.
Not good.
Right.
So he didn't cave, and I'm glad he didn't.
Who's that? Trump?
Yeah, he did. He did good. And I think also the SNAP thing is going to get overhauled.
Yeah.
And, they're going to get people with nose rings, tattoos, and hairdos and eyelashes. They're going to get a lot of those people off of, the crowd that's on TikTok complaining,
SNAP reform, food stamps reform.
Yeah.
There's a lot of abuse.
Yes.
I was listening to JLP recently, off air, and he made this point that anytime the government has a program with government money involved, there's shenanigans. He didn't use the word shenanigans, but there's like people taking advantage and scamming or whatever. Yeah.
So I see the economy getting better, and a lot of the younger people that have to work and everything, I think it's going to be better off for them in the long run. What Trump is doing for them, because the tariffs are bringing a lot of the manufacturing over here, even if it's their product, another country, they're bringing it over here for you guys.
Yeah.
And
did you hear that?
I see them. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
Did you hear that Trump is going to give Trump bucks? There's like dividends because we're raking in the bucks, then whatever's left over, he's going to pay down our national debt with it a little bit. That's so cool.
Yeah, so I see it going in the right direction, and like I said, they're going to probably overhaul SNAP significantly, just because you get $3,000 in food stamps a month. When they reopen it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get $1,500. So it's going to be probably a program where they work 40 hours a month or whatever to get their benefits. And in other words, not just give it away.
Right.
Just kind of, clean it up a lot, which would be good. And that's going to save money. So money is being, Trump is on the move, as you noticed.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You can't stop the man. You can't stop him.
No, you can't. And I think we're going to get some more real refugees with Nigeria, Christians being killed. I think some of them are going to probably end up coming over here, but that's legitimate. They're killing them there. It's a different.
Did you hear? I'm cracking up because I don't know if you heard JLP on his show today, but a caller, I believe it was BRANDI, maybe, talking about the refugees from Nigeria, and Jesse's like, no, we only want whites.
Christians?
Yeah, they are Christian refugees. We only want white, no more of these other refugees.
Right. So,
but you're right. It's kind of a nasty situation over there in Nigeria. I saw some disturbing footage of. There's this woman with her children, I guess, this Nigerian woman, black, dark, and she's like shuddering. Somebody posted it on Instagram, and what they said was they were like scaring her before torturing and killing her and the Christians. But I don't know if that's a true story or not, but horrific, evil things that people do to one another. Yeah.
And that guy that went to that they took to that prison and brought back, that illegal, his attorneys fought to the point where they got him deported. He's getting ready to go to Liberia.
Abrego Garcia?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is
Because
it
everybody's
Liberia
still
where
getting
he's headed?
arrested. You know what I said? Everybody's still getting arrested. He's just one case, you know,
Yeah.
and his attorneys fought it to the point where he got sent to Africa. And I don't think he's going to like it over there. That's the country that, remember when the slaves were freed and the American government
Yeah.
helped them get that country. Yeah. And the Americans that went over there, the blacks that went over there, tore the place up.
They didn't make it better, huh?
Yeah, they had civil war for decades. You know?
Wow.
So I wanted to give a shout out to Hayden in Texas. He was just absolutely boiling Friday. It was epic.
Nice.
I enjoy hearing him. But yeah, Trump's on the move. I think he's doing good. I mean, you know, I'm thinking it's in the long run better for the economy and the generation that's coming that has to work. That they're having children and they need the money. You know, they don't need to be getting handouts to live, because it's like almost they single-handedly put a stroke in making a generation think that socialism is the answer when it's not.
Right. True, man.
Yeah. So the ACA is not good, everybody. So
yeah.
Obamacare, what do they call it? Obamacare? It's not good.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it, William. The
All
third.
right.
Take care, man. Bye. Ronnie in Ohio calling in here. Ronnie, thank you for calling, sir. What's up?
My brother Hake, how you doing today?
I'm doing fine. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Hope you had a good weekend.
I did indeed.
Nice. So I caught the show on Friday, and there were two things I really wanted to talk about that came up during your conversation with Krishan Nadan.
Yes.
I'll start with you not understanding when I separated or said there's a difference between marriage and holy matrimony.
Right.
You don't think there's a difference?
No, it should. There is no difference between marriage and holy matrimony. Holy matrimony is like just a Christian-y word for marriage.
So which definition is the one that's accurate? Is it the legal definition of marriage, or is it the biblical prescription of holy matrimony?
It's the real one. The real one where a man and a woman, as common sense says, where a man and a woman come together and commit to one another till death do them part, and ideally they make babies and stuff like that, make a family. That's the real marriage.
No, which one is the real definition, not which one is the real marriage?
That's the real definition that I gave. I don't know what the biblical one says specifically offhand, nor the legal thing offhand. The legal thing has been tortured because the Supreme Court made up a fake definition of marriage to make it so that they pretended like men and women can get married all of a sudden out of nowhere, and that's not in the federal government's purview.
Perfect. So that's really what I'm focused on. What is in the government's purview? Is it supposed to be based on religion, or is it supposed to be based on something else?
The government is supposed to acknowledge reality of the government should acknowledge reality. Reality is where men and women come together and benefit society by being sensible towards one another and raise sensible kids to be sensible contributors to society, and that really benefits society and makes a country strong. Whereas this fake idea of marriage doesn't make the country, and this fake idea of fairness and anti-discrimination doesn't make the country stronger. It makes the country weak. So same-sex marriage weakens the country in that it's pretending something that's not real is real and forcing everybody to pretend along with the pretenders that it's real, and that's not right. The government should not be enforcing that against the people. The government enforced so-called same-sex marriage, and you think that that's good. You think that's fine because it's the government, it should be secular, right?
I'm not sure how you assume that I think it's good or that it's fine if I just say that it's legal.
It's not legal either in the world.
It is legal. We just talked about, and you said how the Supreme Court
they
took an approach to make it legal, so it's clearly legal, and that is clearly the law of the land.
The Supreme Court does not write the law. They made up a fake thing.
The Supreme Court doesn't write the law?
Right. That's the Congress's job, to write laws.
Does the Supreme Court determine what's legal and what's not legal, and what's constitutional and what's not constitutional?
Yes.
Okay, so did they say that gay marriage is constitutional, or did they say it's unconstitutional?
They pretended like it's constitutional.
They pretended, or they ruled that it's constitutional?
They ruled pretending that it was constitutional.
Got it. So based on the Supreme Court's ruling, as it currently sits on the books today, it is legal for two gay people to get married.
I guess so. If you want to claim that, what's your point?
My point is, I can say that it's legal without having to be lied about, saying that I think it's good or that I support it.
Well, I asked you because this whole thing came up because Obama supported same-sex marriage the whole time. Remember that? Remember that?
Yeah.
Jesse Lee Peterson and others, Sean Hannity and others, they knew, even though he was lying and pretending that he wasn't for same-sex marriage, he was for it all along. And then he put in two women of color, a wise Latina, and then Alana Kagan. I guess, I don't know if she's of color. She's not a normal white. But he put in a couple of women in the so-called Supreme Court, and maybe some others, I forget. And he evolved into so-called same-sex marriage, and you thought that he was a great president. And then you defended it. And you defended it how? Just because it's the law of the land all of a sudden? That makes it okay?
The point being that the Supreme Court was in agreement with his view, and he's also not the only person that has that view. Beforehand, he's not the only person that had that view after.
Right,
so
but he was instrumental.
Hold on. To blame gay marriage being legal in America on one person is not fair and it's not accurate.
But you're giving me a straw man. You are scarecrowing me. You're scarecrowing my argument. I said I don't support Obama for one. He supported so-called same-sex marriage. It doesn't matter whether same-sex marriage is because of him solely. Nobody pretended that. You're putting that on me when I didn't say that.
I didn't put that on you.
Yeah, you did. You said you said blaming one man for same-sex marriage is dumb, but nobody blamed one man for same-sex marriage. What are you talking about?
Okay, cool. We're not blaming Obama 100% for gay marriage being legal, right?
No, we're blaming Obama 100% for being wrong and being a liar and being evil.
Yeah, I'm not here to argue about any of those things.
Right.
There are things that Trump does and believes that you disagree with, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so can a person be an Obama supporter or think that Obama had two successful, good terms and still disagree with him on his view of gay marriage?
Yeah, people can be blind like that.
It would be... Wait, what?
Yes, people can be blind and think that he had two successful, big, great terms and still disagree with him on same-sex marriage.
Okay, so then why would you assume and
Blacks do that all the time.
Why would you assume and tell your listeners that I agree with Obama when it comes to gay marriage?
Because you justified so-called same-sex marriage. You said, oh, no, that's holy. You're talking about holy matrimony. You're not talking about marriage.
You were. You weren't talking about the law. You were talking you think the law should be. You weren't talking about the law as it stands.
Do you think the law should be for same-sex marriage or against so-called same-sex marriage?
I think the definition of marriage, which I've already laid it out. I think the definition of marriage is different than the definition of holy matrimony. When it comes to the United States, it should abide by the definition of marriage, not holy matrimony, because law should not be rooted in religion.
Why not?
because then that would make me anti-constitutional because it would go against the First Amendment.
How so?
You don't know you don't know the language in the First Amendment?
I do, but you didn't really directly answer my question.
You asked me why shouldn't the laws be rooted in religion?
No, that was not my original question. You
okay?
Yeah.
What was your question?
You think so-called same-sex marriage should be the law, or should it be not the law? Should it be?
Yes, it should be.
It should be the law that same-sex couples can get "quote unquote" married.
Yes, because the definition of marriage. Because the definition of marriage does not specify if it should be two straight people or two gay people. It just says two people. So the same way I don't think three people should be able to get married. Look up the definition of marriage, Hake.
I'm not interested in definitions. I'm not fooled by definitions. Dictionaries are fake news.
Good deal. So then you won't understand my reasoning. You won't understand my reasoning as to how I answered that question if you're not understanding what the definition is.
Okay.
If you want to leave out the definition and be emotional about it, that's cool. That's your prerogative.
Well, it's not necessarily a matter of emotion, man. It's a matter of you being intellectual and rationalizing so-called same-sex marriage as a legitimate thing that should be the law of the land, forced on everybody to recognize, and you justified it. And so I was correct in my interpretation of you, it sounds like, when I said you justified so-called same-sex marriage.
Pointing out what's legal and what's not legal doesn't mean that I agree with the legality or I disagree with the legality.
But that's what do you know what should means? What do you think should be the law?
Should is an emotion and it's subjective.
Oh, so you don't even have,
we weren't, the conversation I was having with you was about if it's legal or not. If you say it should or it should not be, I'm not a lawyer and we're not in a courtroom, so I wouldn't necessarily be interested in debating on whether or not it should be allowed.
Is your name Ronnie Onyeka Brown Jackson, Ronnie? I'm not a doctor. I'm not a biologist. I can't define a woman.
No.
So we're talking on two different levels. I'm asking you whether
I think it should be legal.
Right.
I'm not a Supreme Court justice. You asking the wrong person. I don't have any jurisdiction. I don't have any influence. I don't have any authority on whether or not it should be legal. So asking me that question, you should be asking Trump because he hasn't changed it in the 5 years that he's been president.
Oh, man. What a mess.
If the law bothers you that much,
Mark explained it. I think Mark in the chat explained it. Ronnie is educated.
You don't have to be educated to be able to read the definition of a word. The definition of marriage, outside of the scientific part where you're actually blending elements, the definition of marriage is a joint of two people entering into a contract.
Okay.
Who am I to tell two people that they can't enter into a contract because I don't want to be subjected to them being married? That's emotional.
Hey, they can enter into any contract they want, but they don't have a right to force us.
You agree with me? You agree with me?
No, I don't. You're not letting me finish.
They should be able to enter into any contract that they want, including marriage.
You're not letting me finish.
Thank you for agreeing with me.
You're not letting me finish.
Go ahead.
But they don't have a right to force the rest of us to recognize it as a real thing.
They don't need you to recognize it. They just need the state that they live in to recognize it, and then any other state that they might move to within the United States.
Why do they need that? What good is that? What good is that for society? What good is so-called same-sex marriage for society?
What good is it for? Hold on, rephrase your question.
What good is so-called same-sex marriage for society?
Who says that it has to be good for society? That's a weird question.
Oh, it's weird to ask what good it is for society?
It's not weird to ask it. It's just a weird question.
Is it weird to ask what good is a real marriage for society?
I'm not understanding where the question's coming from. That's why it's weird.
Oh.
Weird just means strange. Why would you ask that?
The reason I ask that is because the reason why marriage is considered something special in society, like a husband and wife are married, right? And you respect that. You don't try to get in with the wife. And hopefully they're raising their children in the right way and staying together and loving God. That makes a society good. That's what makes a nation, when there's a whole bunch of families who are raising their children right, for the most part, that makes a nation strong because the children are responsible and contributors and builders and homemakers and candlestick makers. And that's good for society. But I wanted to know if you thought, and I think that you agree with that. So I wanted to know if you thought that so-called same-sex marriage was good for society in that way as well.
I partially agree with your assessment on why you say marriage is good for society. Because I think that even two people that get married and they can't have kids, I think that's still good for society. So if we're talking about marriage only being good if they have children and they raise responsible children, you're assuming that for all heterosexual married couples. And
I disavow this word.
What word? Heterosexual?
Yeah, it's gross. How old are you? Aren't you like my age? Aren't you like 5 years younger than me or less?
Just about.
Yeah. You were brainwashed with that word, man.
I was brainwashed with heterosexual?
Yeah, don't say that. Sorry, kids.
It's a scientific word.
No, it's a propaganda word.
It's literally a scientific word.
What's homicide?
I couldn't have been brainwashed by learning what words mean.
What's homicide?
And you kill another human.
Yeah, you kill your own kind, right? You kill a fellow man. So homosexual.
I'm glad you know definitions of some words.
So
other words you struggle with.
So homosexual should just mean you're having the S with a fellow human being.
You don't even have to be having relations. You can just be in a relationship with another person. That's what that means. A person of the same sex.
So anyway,
and there are only two sexes, male and female.
I didn't feel totally good, though, about talking so much crap about you when you weren't there. I was hoping that you would be listening, but anyway, yeah. Hayden
I wasn't listening live, but y'all did. That's why I was part of why I was calling, because I'm like, Hake is taking a conversation that he cut short, and then he's lying about my views afterwards to try to make some weird point that I still don't even understand.
Oh, but based on what you just said, I think I didn't lie at all about your point. I said pretty much what you said, that you justified same-sex marriage as because you distinguish it from holy matrimony, which that's like a Christian-y holy term.
It's the law. I don't justify it. I didn't write the law. I didn't contest whether or not the law should be constitutional or unconstitutional. So to say that I justified it is wrong. To say that
I know, but you just
I am a supporter of
to say
I'm a supporter of Obama because he made it legal is also wrong. And to say I'm a supporter, and to also say that I'm a supporter of Obama, so I must support this thing that he supported is also wrong.
And that's not what I said either. That's why I asked you about it.
That's what you gave off. That's what you gave off, and that's why I called to give you a chance to clear the air, maybe even throwing an apology for kind of lying on me. But it's not.
Well, I'm not going to apologize because I did tell the truth. I do apologize for going in a little hot and heavy and hard on you when you weren't there to, I prefer to talk to the person rather than just about the person. But you are definitely an educated, communist, brainwashed type of Christian, and I understand it, I guess.
That's also a lie. How you gonna call me a communist?
Because
what about me says that I support communism or that I am a communist?
Well, communists will use intellectual arguments to rationalize evil in the society.
Humans use rational arguments.
Right. Communists.
I'm asking you what makes me a communist.
Communists are human, man. Don't you know?
Not all humans are communists, Hake. So calling me a human and calling me a communist are two different things.
I know, but all human beings are communists until they repent. And you repented. You dropped the anger, right? You forgave, but you still got some leftover communism in you, and I can't help you with it. If I can,
I don't need you to help me with it. I really wanted you to just point out what I've said.
Oh yeah,
that would show oh, this guy's a communist.
Yeah, communists support same-sex marriage, and they use that same vernacular. They push the idea of racism. Yeah, they do.
No, they don't.
Communists are all about the LGBTQ rights.
What in the world?
Because they have this idea of fairness. It's a mama spirit. Communists are mama, right? Have you noticed that? Because you've read about communism, I think. And don't they have like a mama spirit? They want things to be fair, even for the criminals and the pervs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm lost. Maybe it's because you don't really know what communism is, and calling me a communist without being able to give examples shows that you don't know what it is. So
well, one example is same-sex marriage.
I won't take offense to being called a communist by you because you clearly don't know what it means.
Well, that's not why you shouldn't be offended. You shouldn't be offended anyway. You know that. But 2, you support the idea of racism. 3,
I support the idea of racism?
Yeah, you think that it's a real thing.
Racism is a real thing.
And I don't know, you're just all into your head. Like I ask you where you're going, you tell me where you've been.
Not me. Usually when you ask a question, I usually answer it directly. Unless it's a weird question.
Well, one example of you not answering directly.
I'll answer it.
Well, we already said that you don't even believe in the word should. Because you think should is emotional.
I believe in the word should. I believe in the word should.
But should you say is emotional? It
is. So like right now it's snowing in Ohio.
Yeah.
I could say it should be 85 degrees and sunny.
It's going to be 85 over here.
But it's not 85 degrees and sunny. So if I'm contesting that it should be that way, that's me being emotional about hating the cold and or hating the snow. And if I say how something should be, I'm probably not talking about how it is.
But men influence society, right? And you're a man, and you could influence society. Yeah. So societal rules and things are all about should. Should suggests more like obligation and what's right and wrong. I get that emotion creeps in on that. I'm totally with you on that. I shouldn't get emotional about same-sex marriage or abortion. You know how these women get really emotional for and against abortion. And that's not right. We should not be emotional. We should be like, abortion should not be illegal, but it is. It is what it is. There's no emotion behind the should there, hopefully.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. And if somebody sees something, whether it's local government, federal government, whatever, if they see something that is, but it should be a different way, if they care enough about it, they should do something about it by running for whatever office, by lobbying for whatever laws they want to see changed, if they really, truly care about it. If they don't really, truly care about it, then they can complain about it, and it doesn't change my life. 2 gay people being married doesn't affect my life, so I don't get upset about 2 dudes being married. That doesn't affect my life. My bills remain the same. My tasks at work remain the same. It doesn't affect me at all. So it's kind of weird to hear a guy get so emotional about it, like, this shouldn't be the law. We need to make a change. Like, why? And if you really want to make a change, go make that change.
So manly. Thank you, Ronnie.
Yes, sir. Last thing I want to do before I jumped off, accountability. You posted the clip or the Rumble. It was a Rumble chant. That's what it was. About Trump and the jobs, not him losing jobs when he left office.
Right.
And I said that I'm looking for results and not excuses.
Right.
So what if I threw an excuse out there for Obama and said that his terms weren't successful because Mitch McConnell and the Tea Party stood against him for 6 out of the 8 years while he was president? Would it be accepted if I tried to make an excuse for Obama's shortcomings?
That would be a valid excuse because that was outside of his control, right? If let's say he didn't get to do. He wanted to do DAPA, Deferred Action for Parents of Americans. We've all heard of DACA, right? Do you remember DAPA?
Mm-hmm.
Deferred Action for Parents of Americans. So if Nick's mama, Nick had the anchor baby, right? Nick, the anchor baby, is American, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let's say his mama wanted to stay even though she's illegal. Well, he would have tried to defer the action, but a judge stood in his way and stopped him from being able to do that. That would be outside of his control because a judge stopped him. Maybe he could have fought and found other ways to keep the parents of, the illegal parents of anchor baby Americans here, but that's not really his fault. Likewise, the economy is not solely, as you know, the responsibility of the president and the jobs and all that. There's other things going on. There are local authorities messing up the jobs and state authorities messing up the jobs. So
okay.
that has,
we have a.
So
Yeah,
was there any policy that Trump did that messed up the economy and jobs?
Policy that Trump did. So I don't look at it the way you do. I'm more macro, 30,000 foot view from it. I wouldn't accept excuses or make excuses for Obama or any president. The buck stops with the president. That's the whole point of you holding that executive office.
I know, but I don't blame Trump for me stubbing my toe or Obama. I mean, I do sometimes, but it's more like facetiously. When the
and there we do agree, because as I've said plenty of times, I don't really care who's the president, because it's gonna affect my life somewhat,
right?
But I'm not gonna wake up happier or less happy based on who's in office.
So Obama and Trump didn't affect your job. How do you know that they affected whoever's jobs?
I mean, I'm talking about specifically what I do when I'm working.
But you had a job regardless, because you're a responsible adult.
Right, and I would not blame any of the issues that I have on a president, Trump included. I don't blame Trump for any of my problems if I have them. I didn't blame Obama for any of those problems if I had them. So making excuses for those guys is also outside of my purview.
But
I don't make excuses for
what did
executives.
Trump do wrong that messed up the economy?
If you're asking for my personal opinion on it,
yeah.
he underestimated COVID.
And how did that mess up the economy? If that's true.
So him underestimating it, thinking that it could just go away when it gets warmer, thinking it's not going to last long, thinking it's not going to be that big of a deal. These were his words, not mine. Thinking those things allowed COVID, quote unquote, to happen the way that it did. So when we say that there was a overreaction to COVID, there would be no overreaction to COVID if we took better measures to prevent it.
Oh, so you're just weighing your imagination.
You asked me for my view. That's not an imagination either. That's just my perspective on things that actually took place.
No, you imagine that had he taken different actions that he could have stopped the virus.
Could have. I didn't say it's a guarantee that he would have. The same way, if Obama didn't call ISIS the JV team, maybe we could have stopped them a lot earlier. It doesn't mean that it's a guarantee. So when Trump says
you just imagine that it's his fault that the economy got messed up, and not the people who overreacted and shut down the government. I mean, shut down the businesses.
It's not in my imagination. Did I imagine that he was president during that time, or was he really the president during that time?
I got to run, man. We've gone way too long. This is ridiculous.
Yeah, I wanted this one to be quick. Just saying that when it comes to accountability, I don't excuse one side and then and then blame other side. I don't say that it's okay for this president to fail, but this president is not okay. I'm consistent with that. And I wouldn't make excuses for Obama, and I don't make excuses for Trump.
I find your arguments specious.
I'll take it.
Thank you, Ronnie. Take care.
Sounds good. Nice chatting with you, brother. I appreciate you for listening hearing me out this time and not getting emotional and hanging up.
Yeah, I apologize for hanging up on you.
All good, my brother. It's all love.
All right. What a mess. Yeah, last time I got frustrated because he wasn't answering any questions. He was like, I asked him a direct question and he goes, what a mess. And that's frustrating. BRANDI in Hawaii says, what, BRANDI? What do you say?
Okay, morning.
Morning. What time is it over there for you?
It is 7:40 now.
So normally it would have been 6:40, but because we fell back, and now it's 7:40 for you.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. I don't know if I like it or not. Can't decide.
Yeah, because Hawaii does not observe daylight saving time.
Yep.
But we do.
They do not.
Hawaii and Arizona do not represent. They stay on standard time year round, so they don't spring forward.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's good because I get more Jesse time where I can call, but then I find it harder to call you.
Oh, because you got to get going with your day.
Yeah, a lot of times I have to be at a job at 8, so I'll be leaving.
Nice. Well, I'm glad that you got in. What's up?
Hey, did you guys hear that there was like 2 young women in the UK that was busted or arrested for planning a lone wolf attack with bombs to their chest?
No, I hadn't heard about this. Was this recently? This is today, breaking news, or over the weekend, or what?
It was like yesterday I watched it. But
you know, these stories, it's kind of like these, how black, in the black community, there's all this disproportionate violent crime everywhere all the time. It's like you roll your eyes. It's like old news. Now these terror attacks terror attacks thwarted. So women, bombs, UK.
I don't know if they actually bombed it, but I know that they got caught with bombs to their chest, like they were about to plan it.
Oh wow!
But I don't know what that was on. It was.
Were they Muslim women? I'm assuming Muslim women. Were they Muslim women?
Yeah, I believe so. And they were like 18 and 17 or something. They were like super young girls that were planning it. Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy. I wonder
what
possessed them to do that. Were they attractive young gals?
I don't know. I didn't even see them. But it's crazy that Muslims hate women, but they use them to do their dirty work. I think that's funny. I don't know how women fall for that.
I know.
So silly.
The world.
I forgot to tell Jesse, though, too, that I am applying for disability for my son, too, so I might be able to get paid to stay home with him.
Oh, okay. You're applying for disability to be able to do that?
Yeah, because he's 7 now, and I was watching some videos, I guess, in California.
So
his kid is that old.
He'll have disability, or you will?
He will get it, but I will get it. It's like, have you heard of IHSS out in California, where they get paid to take care of their family members and stuff that are disabled?
I can't find your news story. IHSS?
Yeah.
No, I don't know all these acronyms. I'm not.
It's like caregiving. It's like caregiving. But
okay.
I heard you could get it for your kids, so I went and asked about it.
In-home, IHSS. How come In-Home Supportive Services? IHSS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you. Whatever you do, good luck to you.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm hoping I can get it so I can take care of my kids better. But I just want to let you know about the terrorist attack that they were planning, because was saying that we were going to have them here.
Oh.
Remember, I was saying it was like the Book of Nehemiah. We're going to be half guarded with the sword and half working.
Woman arrested after hazardous liquid thrown in a Glasgow attack. That was 8 hours ago. A 51-year-old woman arrested and charged in connection with an assault in the Glasgow city centre. That's Glasgow, Scotland. I always want to call it Glasgow. I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
No, but they were doing that back in the day too, where they would have acid and just walk up to you and throw it in your face.
That's so scary.
Isn't it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, we're going to be dealing with that everywhere. The whole world is going to be dealing with this. Because it was 2014, 15, and 16 that Obama was letting all those refugees over different countries. Remember, they were walking across the country to different places. And yeah, that's been 10 years of them planning attacks on us? World worldwide attacks are coming. I hope we're ready.
Well, thanks for the update. I'm not finding the specific story, but nice. Maybe
if I find it, I'll call you back.
Right on. Thank you, BRANDI.
Yeah.
Be careful.
No worries. I gotta go to.
All right.
Yeah, you too. It's more crazy for you guys. You're in LA.
And
I'm out in the boonies.
Nice. Well, take care.
All right. Thanks, guys.
All
Bye.
right. Bye. Wow. Ooh. And IHSS In-Home Services or something like that? Whatever. All right. Anyway. Before I get back to your calls, I want to do a few super chats, all right, if you don't mind. I had the longest super chat ever from this man, Eric. Let me make sure that I'm caught up. Yeah, Eric had this great one about Eric had some great things over here. Oh, did I read all of these? Oh. Okay, I think I better just review these a little bit. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I didn't even read all of these on the because on Friday I had old Krishan the Dawn of the Misfit Nation on. Wow. Okay, so let's see. People need to stop blaming Trump for the party's issues, says CBILL with 3 coffees. Trump is not God. Hello. I know, it's kind of like blaming Trump for the jobs. And he's pretending like Trump didn't handle the virus well. It doesn't make sense. We have a weak Republican Party, no backbone. We better appreciate Trump while he's in office. Why isn't the churches pushing back on this Islamic aggression? He asks. What should churches do in pushing back against the Islamic aggression? They shouldn't be... I don't know what you mean by pushing back on that. Because sometimes these churches are like crazy about it, overboard against the Muslims. And then sometimes they're just don't talk about it at all. And kind of like what I just talked about with BRANDI about the Islamic stuff. It's scary. They're throwing like acid on people sometimes. People have thrown acid on one another, and that disfigures your skin. You ever see Batman with the Joker? He fell into a vat of acid. It's worse even than that, I think. It's nasty. So that's scary. You want to deal with that fear, because that fear is not good. You don't want to have fear. But you want to be wise and you want to be wary. You want to pay attention. You want to not be at all these events and things because you don't know what may happen. Thanks a lot, government, bringing in all these people who sometimes their children get all radicalized. They get Americanized, and yet they turn around and get radicalized. Omar Mateen was an example. You guys remember Omar Mateen? Let's see. Yeah, Omar Mateen. He was like full-blown Americanized, son of a refugee. I don't know how Americanized he really was. But he was American, they call him. Mass murderer who killed 49 people and wounded 58 others at the gay club, at the Pulse nightclub in Atlanta or somewhere. Look at him. He looks like he might be like Mexican, but no, he's Muslim. He was Muslim. He pledged allegiance to like ISIS, and he didn't like Trump bombing. Oh no, this was before Trump took office. This was under Obama, during the run for president, Trump's run for president. Oh yeah, because his dad was a Hillary supporter. His dad was showed up at a Hillary Clinton thing. Born in New York to Afghan American parents, according to this. So he wasn't even just an anchor baby, because his parents, according to this, if this is true, his parents had become naturalized American citizens, if that's even true, right? Wikipedia, I don't believe it. Omar Mir Siddiq Mateen, born in 86, died in 2016, before he could even reach 30, right? 96, oh no, 96, 06, 16. Yeah, he wasn't even 30 yet. Because November, and it was June when he got himself done in. But yeah, he was raised, these second-generation people, he identified as a mujahideen, Islamic soldier of God. And they tried to pretend, oh, this is against the gays. It wasn't necessarily that. He was triggered, he said, by an airstrike in Iraq. Oh, Iraq, not Syria. That killed Abu Wahid, an IS commander, Islamic State, ISIS, 6 weeks before. All these people all watching this stuff in the Middle East too closely and getting all radicalized. He born in New York, grew up in Florida. And we're bringing in these people, and his dad is all like nice, but like a Hillary supporter. Hillary Clinton. Omar Mateen, dad, Hillary rally. There's a picture of him. Father of the Orlando massacre stands behind Hillary Clinton. A month later, I support Hillary, father of Orlando massacre shooter. Look at him. He doesn't look like an Iraqi. He looks like a Mexican dad of my friends. Block. Look at that. He supports Hillary. And he looks sort of POC, so they put him behind. That was before the red hats looked bad. See, he's right there behind her. So that's the other bad thing is they support Democrats per capita. Anyway, I'm getting carried away. Yeah, so come on, Muslims, get with it. At least be Republican. You claim to be conservative. Everybody's naturally conservative, except they vote communist. Oh, Latinos, naturally conservative. Black people, they're so Christian. They're natural conservatives. Oh, Muslims, they're conservative. They all support Democrats and everything bad. A mess. Thank you, CBILL. Terrible. Okay, so let me calm down. In America. Thank you, CBILL. I'm glad I revisited that. Okay, so back to more of your coffees. Eric says, Nick Fuentes. Oh, this is really good. This was a really good explanation. I thought it was obvious. I feel like I can see things. It's just so obvious to me. But it's not obvious to the communist caller. Like I don't explain myself well. I feel like Eric can explain to Ronnie why I say that Ronnie is communist better than I can explain it to Ronnie. So Eric, I need Eric to be my translator. Eric says with 5 coffees, Nick Fuentes is a fan of great figures in history. He's not justifying their behavior, for example, with that communist guy who killed a bunch of people. Blanking on his name. He's extracting the characteristics of what made these men so influential, strategic, brilliant, quote unquote. He's saying there's a lot to learn from them despite the results of their behavior. Eric, 5 coffees. Thank you, sir. Indeed. So good. And maybe you can explain things to Popcorn, too, because Popcorn doesn't get it through his thick skull. Popcorn with the coffee. I'm not sure if you were serious about this, but you mentioned previously you'd be okay with black people not being able to vote. I already read this one, actually. I know I read it and responded to it. And I'd already read the Eric one. And, oh, yeah, I did this one with with my mom singing this. This is not my mom, okay? But this is Rise and Shine and Give God the glory, glory, rise. Okay, so her voice is more annoying than my mom's. Shine and give God the glory, glory, rise and shine and give God the glory, glory, children. of the Lord. Rise and shine. My childhood summed up in a song. So, who is this? Who made that? Janelle Lynn Anderson. Is that a black gal? Was she raised kind of... Oh, no.
No.
Oh, Lord. No. I think I got fooled. I'm such a boomer. Where is the...
No, what are you doing?
All right. It's enough of that. Thank you, Popcorn. Appreciate you sharing. Very fun. And then Chris says, Fuentes is nothing like Trump. And I read this one already, but it's worth, I think, revisiting again. All right, these coffees from like Thursday, Friday. If you watch videos of them back to back, you'll notice Trump is never angry when speaking, but Fuentes, full of emotions like a female, says he. FYI, I'm aware of spelling it Fuentes because he's a sickness like the flu to society, a sickness to society. I joke that I'm a cancer to society because, you know, these degenerate friends of mine, my secular friends, supposedly Christian, they believe in the astrology thing. And they told me that I'm a cancer because I was born in mid-July. So I said a cancer to society. Nick Fuentes dividing up the party, and now Dems are gaining again. What up, Krishan? Strong, normal emoji arm, and then black, dark fist communist emoji. Thank you, Chris. But it's spelled Crishaun, Krishan the Dawn. But I don't think that Nick Fuentes is at all to blame for really even dividing the party, because Jesus divided people too. There's a right and wrong way to divide, and I don't know if Fuentes is really dividing in the wrong way. Maybe he is, but I don't see it. I know that I don't take away that his followers and supporters may be dividing in the wrong way, right? Followers are always dividers. People who are like have a follower and put up their identity with this guy mindset. That's not right. But I've watched him a bit. But anyway, I will read a response to yours, Chris, later. Already read this one about Cesar, from Cesar. Yeah, I'm curious I would be curious whether if Krishan were to watch the Tucker Nick interview, what he would think about it, because I really appreciated it. I wasn't surprised by it at all, other than that I didn't know his backstory. I didn't know that Fuentes was a fellow fan of Mark Levin, like I am, or was. Competitor now. Anyway, Rise and Shine and NJF stuff, I guess we'll call it. Popcorn. In response to your question why I said women should be able to vote, yeah, this is where I left off. Popcorn. Women. It's simple. Women are citizens of this country. That's one. It's not necessarily a reason, but these are the bases for his thinking. They pay taxes, which he thinks that should make them be able to vote. They, like men, are impacted by the legislative decisions that get made by the people in power. Indeed. Doesn't mean they should vote, but that's what he thinks, parts of why he thinks that they should vote. So they should have a say-so, i.e. a vote, a say, in who these people are, claims Popcorn. Advocating for entire groups of people, blacks, women, etc., not being able to vote because you think a majority of them vote a certain way is extremely reductive. Whatever that means. I'll have to look that one up. I know that reducing, I don't know what you mean, but I'll have to look into that word. And you end up ensnaring people you didn't mean to as an unintended consequence. Yeah, but it's for the greater good. The greater good. Case in point, Jesse Lee, a black landowner, make the case for why he shouldn't be able to vote. Why would I make the case for why he shouldn't be able to vote? He owns land, and he's white on the inside. Well, he's black. your position would be better served, in my opinion, by putting down the values that you think people that vote should adhere to and make that your position. Banning large groups like that is nonsensical, in my opinion. Okay, so women, though, specifically aren't meant to be like leading, right? Voting is kind of leadership. Voting should be quality, not quantity. If women aren't voting, but the men are voting, the men vote more sensibly per capita. And it's not just the results based, it's because of the driving naturalness of it. They naturally just think more sensibly. There's been case after case after case after case of men who don't necessarily come to bond, but their wives do. And then when the wives give feedback and they have a conflict with their husband, the wives give feedback and the husband is more sensible and closer to what the message should be than the women are who supposedly have it. Remember, there's this gal who's just in her head all the time, and she knows it. And then her husband has just kind of come around to really appreciate and bond, forgave his mother and stuff like that. And if she were to listen to him, it would be so much better, even though she's maybe more whatever. So it's just sort of natural for men to be making the decisions for the country, for the women, and the women not worry their pretty little heads. Since women have been voting, we've gotten more progressive because of the women voting, which is to say communist because of the women voting, which has been bad for the women. They vote their own self-destruction. There is a quote from one of the founders: whoever would surrender liberty for security deserves neither. And that's what the women do. They vote away their rights for so-called security. That's why they voted for Obama, because he said, oh, you need this health care. So he swooped in with this false promise of government-run health care and even more government meddling in the so-called health insurance and health so-called care world, and messed it up even worse. Thanks, gals. They get into their heads and brainwashed. Similarly with the black Americans, you heard RONNIE justifying and rationalizing the government doing evil and pretending like, okay, yeah. But I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Reductive. What does reductive mean? Tending to present a subject or problem in a simplified form, especially one viewed as crude, minimal. Okay, nice. I know, but if you get to the root of it, you'll see all kinds of reasoning behind it, man. Like, should women lead or should men lead? Seems like men should lead. There are blacks who are American, Jesse Lee and others. And Ronnie's American, but he's just been brainwashed by his own intellect, I guess. Not his own intellect, but the intellect. So it's not. Now Ronnie would be one of the. I guess we would let him vote because he probably owns his land and stuff like that, maybe. And so he would be one of the bad, evil voters. There would still be evil voters, right? Just be not as many. Because when you have mob rule, just because somebody's a citizen, just because somebody, quote unquote, pays taxes. A lot of people, quote unquote, pay taxes. They try to act like people are taxpayers. These illegals are taxpayers. Oh yeah, they pay sales tax. Oh yeah, they get money taken out of their check if they're not paid cash, right? But they also get a big refund. They get a tax refund at the in April or whenever, January. Anyway, yeah, those aren't good reasons Those are not good reasons. They've increased the taxes. They've made the impacts worse, and they've brought in people who are not citizens. And they feel sorry for people who are not citizens, and they mess things up for the citizens. So for the sake of the citizens, for the sake of the taxed enough already, tax the snot out of you. Thanks a lot, women. And for the sake of getting more sensible people in power, rather than slick liars, or not very slick liars, then I think it's better if you have the sensible quality voters, not quantity voters. But anyway, this is all moot. All right. Eric says, hey, have you heard of Chesterton's fence? No, and I still haven't looked it up. Eric, coffee. Chesterton's fence. An important principle explaining the consequences of disposing of traditional values for progressivism. Chesterton's fence states one should not remove a fence established by rule, law, or custom until they understand its original purpose, such as real marriage, right? Don't destroy what you don't understand. Chesterton's fence can be applied to family, business, diet, exercise, sleep, education, religion, government, war, voting, abortion, marriage, immigration, everyday life, etc. Example, instead of allowing women to vote, take birth control, have abortions, Instagram, OnlyFans. Ask if there is an important societal reason why we don't. There is a good societal reason why we don't. Have you seen?
Suppose there is a...
Oh, this is nice. This is nice and short. Let me turn this a touch down. It seemed like it might be loud.
Fence erected in the middle of nowhere that's blocking your path. What do you do? Do you take it down in order to continue on your way, or do you first think hard about why it is there to begin with? Chesterton's fence is a simple rule of thumb that suggests that you should never destroy a fence, change a rule, or do away with a tradition until you understand why it's there in the first place. Let us say, for the sake of simplicity, a fence or gate is erected across a road. The more modern type of reformer goes up to it and says, "I don't see the use of this, let us clear it away." To which the more intelligent type of reformer will do well to answer, "If you don't see the use of it, I certainly won't let you clear it away. Go away and think. Then, when you can come back and..."
I noticed they have a woman correcting the long-haired guy or butchy gal.
"Tell me that you do see the use of it,
mildly attractive,
I may allow you to destroy it." Suppose there is a
nice. Thank you, Eric. Chesterton fence. People destroying what they don't understand. A mess. Thank you very kindly. Eric also says, Nick says what he wants because he can see everyone is brainwashed and neutered. When you worry about what you say, you're subconsciously controlled. You're not yourself. When you practice saying whatever you want without worrying about the consequences, it allows you to see deeper truths. Nick isn't concerned with anything but the truth, he says. Wow, and this is great. This is the longest one ever. Let me read this. A very generous 10 coffees from Eric here on Nick. Longest coffees ever. Krishan the Don has a disconnected take on Nick Fuentes. It's clear he's not up to date. His recent videos are amazing. I don't even know it, but anyway, okay. Because up to date, I don't even think that that's quite right. But anyway, because his older videos are great too. But anyway, he didn't watch the Tucker interview, has strong opinions. He says he feels like Nick is too emotional. After stating his case about Nick for 20 minutes, says, I don't know, it could be wrong. What a mess, states Eric, continuing, it's important to watch Nick's videos, his podcast interviews, the fallouts and reactions, Megyn Kelly, Candace, Tucker, Ben Shapiro, Mark Levin, The Hill, all news coverage. walks around naked after Nick gets done with them. He strips them of their illusion of trust. The display makes us want to be better, authentic. When the people we listen to get exposed as fakes, Nick, a gift from God, saying he's too emotional is a baseless claim. Brilliant insight isn't created by emotion. Emotion accompanies delusion. Nick's able to expose those lies and articulate arguments at light speeds because he possesses a close relationship with reality. That means he's not emotional. He sees objective truth. Someone who is emotional couldn't handle being hated because they would apply the criticism subjectively. When Tucker claims Nick doesn't understand women because he never lived with one, Nick shows clear evidence that living with women doesn't create understanding. It creates submission. Indeed. And Tucker said, happy wife, happy life. Whew. It's clear Tucker is the one who doesn't understand women because he can't see objective truth. He can't speak in generalities. Nick didn't perceive Tucker's contempt as a personal attack because he doesn't care what anyone thinks of him. He stands for truth and nothing less. Tucker's incompetence was on display because he couldn't see outside of his subjective experience. Krishan says white Americans genocide themselves by not standing up. At the same time, he criticizes Nick Fuentes without realizing the methods of his madness would remove their restraints. Krishan says Nick makes edgy comments to be, quote-unquote, shocking, wrong. It's imperative that Nick Fuentes makes edgy comments to the point of stepping over the line. His influence is so powerful that he alone can put an end to cancel culture by proving the line doesn't exist. He's too big to cancel. You can't cancel Nick. Nick can push the Overton window of words back to where we can breathe while we speak again. Don't you feel like you can't even you can hardly breathe? There's no way to think for yourself while walking on eggshells. He can remove the impact of racist, anti-Semitic, and sexist have on the zeitgeist. These labels will no longer be a feasible weapon that domestic terrorists use to threaten people's livelihood. Nick hasn't hurt anyone or influenced a radical to commit violence. It's those who label people Nazi, white supremacist, woman hater, transphobic, racist, white nationalist, Stalin apologist, Hitler worshiper, Holocaust denier, who are calling for violence and influence prominent figure assassinations. Nick's not the threat. They are. It's surprising how many people fall for the gaslighting, the lies, just in-your-face blatant lies. It's likely the average citizen just wants to remain on the safe side of any issue. Like a woman, women follow the safe side of any issue. Out of fear, popcorn, out of fear their lives will be ruined. They accept the narrative provided by their chosen news source, brainwashed and neutered. We must put an end to silencing people by labeling them radioactive. Then we can get back to enjoying a free country where people can criticize and admire anyone despite their group identity. In a world where everything we do is recorded, we can't allow people to blackmail us for something we said when we were 19 years old or yesterday. Nick can end the bullying, blackmail, terrorism of words, no more playing victim, saying you're offended to claim moral superiority. If someone has a problem, we say, welcome to America, grow up, and forget off. He said F off. Never apologize. NJF. Nick J. Fuentes. Nicholas J. Fuentes. Not to be confused with Nicolas, the American anchor baby. Also moving the needle, moving the Overton window, moving the world, shaking the earth. Very nice. I think I agree with you there, sir. People assign anger. On JLP, on Nick, on Trump. It doesn't even make sense. You don't know what you're talking about. Popcorn, another from Popcorn again. What are your thoughts on one of the Great White Hope's latest Truth Social posts concerning tariffs and the economy? I think I retruthed this truth, sir. Let's see if this is the truth I retruthed just today. Oh, okay. No, this is not one of the ones I retruthed. I'll retruth it. Just retruthing is not necessarily endorsement. And I'll hit like because it's Trump, but I'm not necessarily endorsing what it says. So you can see the other ones I retruthed. He said all the air traffic controllers got to go back to work. Nice. But anyway, this is the one that he truthed. People who are against tariffs are fools. Oh, yeah, I did see this. Actually, I screenshot it because I saw it on Telegram. Yeah, Telegram will like screenshot his truths and post them. Somebody will post them on like his Telegram. T.me/the Hake Report. I don't think that I shared this one on my Hake Telegram, but we are now the richest, most respected country in the world with almost no inflation and a record stock market price, 401ks, the highest ever. We are taking in trillions of dollars and will soon begin paying down our enormous debt, $37 trillion. Record investment in the USA, plants and factories going up all over the place. A dividend of at least $2,000 per person, not including high-income people, will be paid to everyone, states Trump. And Popcorn shared that and says, he says there is almost no inflation. 401ks are at record highs, and the plants and factories going up all over the place. Based on what Jesse has said in the past, my guess is that Bond doesn't offer you a 401k. Nosy, messy person. Popcorn, don't be so messy. So you may not care about that, but are you seeing price inflation around you? How about new plants and factories going up in California? I think there's other factors going on in California. Do you think he was just referring to red states? Please answer those. No, I don't pay attention to any of that, Popcorn. I don't know. But I have heard that there are new factories going up. For example, a Canadian factory is moving over to, or the workers, maybe whatever, opening up in Ohio or something. So that's one little example of something. 401k, I don't know. When he said that about the 401ks and the trillions and stuff like that, I'm like, with the inflation, money is just so cheap nowadays that stuff is like a records, you know? But he is doing major things. William knows more about the economy than me, and William III called in about stuff getting better. So, right on. Do you think he would? No, I don't think he was just referring to red states. I don't know if Ohio is even a red state. Ohio is kind of degenerate. But I don't know. Also interested in your take on his statement that Americans, excluding high earners, will be receiving a $2,000 dividend. I'm fine with that. It's like you getting the, that'll get a lot of people's attention. Yeah, I mean, hopefully those are tax-paying Americans, you know, because Americans paid a bunch of taxes. And we elected the right man for the job, so yeah, I guess that'd be nice. If checks and direct deposits go out, you nor I are going to turn them down and write a check back to the Treasury. But my question is, are you in favor of Trump doing this, or does it make people more reliant on the government with the $2,000? It could make some people more like, oh, yeah, let me just relax a little bit more and not pay attention to my stuff. So it could make some people more reliant a little bit, but it's just a one-time payment. It's a dividend, you know. That's how he's framing it. Are you with Trump on this one? Yeah, I'm with him on that. But the same people who have all kinds of names for people who work a full-time job and get EBT will be camped out at their mailbox waiting on the mailman to bring that check. That's my guess anyway. Unearned money in one form or another. I don't know. Yeah, I suppose you might be right on that, Popcorn. I don't know. I'm for it because the government takes so much of our money and wastes it on other stuff. If they were to take mine and spend it on paying down the debt, if they were actually fully going to pay off the whole debt, nice. But I heard that the rest of it's going to go to pay down the debt. Whatever's left over. If you follow, when did he say that? The 9th, right? At 4:20 something p.m. Pacific. He also said it would pay down our debt. Oh, yeah, I think it might be here. Maybe not. I forget where he said it. Anyway, he did say it. He did say it. This is a pretty good one. Let me just read it because I kind of liked it. I'll read it later. I'm gotten carried away with all this reading and stuff. But Trump bucks, we'll call it, right? I would like to get to Alan in Michigan, who's on the line here. Alan, thanks for calling and holding, sir. Go ahead.
Well, thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Just a short word on your first rather lengthy conversation.
Yeah.
With about the difference between law and lawful and contracts. Recently, I have been rereading the work of Lysander Spooner. I don't know if you're familiar with him. He was an American, and I believe he's considered a deist, and he believed in natural law. And he wrote a paper, and I read it, decades ago, but I'm in the process of rereading it, called No Treason, the Constitution of No Authority. And he really brilliantly tears apart the whole idea that the Constitution has any legal or lawful basis in natural law. The idea being that when he wrote his treatise, he said these people who wrote the Constitution, they're all dead, and contracts can't be carried on to a next generation of a bunch of people who are dead. In other words, if I make a promise with you that I'm going to pay you for a certain thing, and as long as I live, I'll give you this payment, and then I die or you die, the contract ends. So the idea is that all these men that made these promises, they're very nice promises. Sure, it's for our posterity, but there's no lawful basis. And the reason I use lawful as differentiated between legal is a creation of lawyers, essentially. And this connects with the Bible and, kind of what you and Jesse have been talking about. When you look at the covenants, which are contracts in the Bible, there are different kinds. Like the covenant or contract with Abraham is what is called an unconditional contract. In other words, no matter what Abraham does, God is going to carry out the contract.
Uh-huh.
The contract with the people of Israel, when they said, all that the Lord said we will do and obey, that is a conditional contract, because if you look at the conditions of the contract, you have the 10 Commandments, but then you have like 600 plus individual statutes, judgments, ordinances that go along with that. And they looked at that and said, okay, we're going to do.
Oh, no, you cut out
there. If you follow, there's a provision in the contract that says, all right, God says, and Israel agreed to it, as a corporate body, we will agree to this, but God says, okay, this is what happens if you agree to the contract and obey it. And there's listed, I believe, 14 different blessings. Then, this is in Deuteronomy 28, the other side of the contract is what happens if we do not obey the contract. And there are like 54 punishments. And of course, some of them are, people who hate you shall rule over you, you shall be in debt, and you'll have diseases, all the things that we see around us today because we're not keeping the contract. That's a conditional contract.
Right.
The marriage contract, when a man and woman get married, that is a contract that God invented. Now, since God, or the self-existent eternal, is eternal and has all power from the beginning to the end or wherever, he can enforce the contract. When men make contracts, they cannot last any longer than the lifespan of a man. They can in God's case because God is eternal. So all these different contracts that we're making, and I'm talking about specifically the Constitution, is a contract, and I agree with Spooner, that ended. We're not under any Constitution. We're under a group of varying laws which are legalisms. And you can tell that by just saying, well, okay, we have the 17th Amendment that changed the contract that these men supposedly made. You have the 19th Amendment that said, okay, women are voting, although that's unscriptural, but in Bible law. But remember, we're talking about man's law, which is a legalism that can vary whatever way you want. And that gets to the point of, this is why all empires created by man fail, because all these contracts cannot last forever. They've got to die with men. And the empire contracts also die. They usually have a life of about 250 years. And guess where we're at? 250 years under the Constitution, the so-called Constitution. Okay, that gets a little bit, hairy here, and I won't go any further, but something to think about, the idea that God can make a everlasting contract or a conditional contract. Man, nope. They have a limited lifespan until the resurrection, of course. And when they die, their agreements and contracts and covenants die with them. And that's all I have to say. I know I'm maybe being a little convoluted here, but that's the basic thing. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Thanks
you,
sir.
Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate it. Take care.
Okay.
David in Ocala, Florida is on the line over here, I think. David, thank you for calling and holding, sir. What's up?
Happy afternoon to you.
Thank you. Afternoon to you.
I woke up this morning. It was 50 degrees. It's supposed to get 30 tonight here.
Wow.
In sunny Florida, yeah.
It's supposed to be 84 over here. It's 78 right now. But it's going to get down to like 47 in this week, supposedly. And it's going to rain this Thursday, Friday, they say. Anyway, nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, listen, I think I told you before, man, I stopped listening to all those people, okay, that you brought up earlier. I mean, I don't, it's just the same old rhetoric.
You're talking about the Shapiro and Levin and all them?
Caylee, that Destiny guy. I mean, listen, like Ben is so smart, he's stupid, okay, because he doesn't know the God of Israel, okay, and so that's what I'm saying. Listen, if these people don't even know, they don't know the truth about God, I'm not going to sit there and listen to their truth about all this other stuff. Plus, they're just all grifters, man. They're on the take. Let me write a book, rah, rah, rah. But I called because the same-sex marriage thing that was brought up, okay?
Yeah.
Ronnie's illustration is like, well, I'm not concerned about them, and it's not, blah, blah, blah. It's like me saying, well, if somebody came over and shot my next-door neighbor, that's none of my business, and I shouldn't be concerned about that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, it is a lack of love for the country and for what's right. Definitely.
Well, what they need to be concerned about is, here's the deal. God said it's an abomination for two men to lay down together. And back in the Old Testament, he told them to kill them, and that the blood would be on their hands, not the people who killed them, but on the two guys that laid down, together. And if you can't tell that Obama is gay,
Lord.
Oh yeah,
that's too far, man. What in the world?
Well, no, it isn't. Listen, I'm going to prove it to you. What was it? I forget what magazine had him on the front as the first gay president.
That doesn't prove anything. That's just because he promoted so-called same-sex marriage, and he evolved into supporting so-called same-sex marriage.
Yeah, it was Newsweek. Yeah, Newsweek magazine said he was the first gay president and had a rainbow halo around his head.
I know that.
Huh?
What does Newsweek know?
Well, what do you know? The next thing you know, plus he got Larry Sinclair. But anyway, the next thing you know, he's getting same-sex marriage passed and rainbow in the White House.
I know. He was a radical, pro-LGBT. I don't think that it's wise or good or even Christian, really, to, this is way back in, when was this?
2012 was the
2012,
magazine.
yeah, because he evolved into supporting this. What a mess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Right.
that doesn't, first of all, that's nasty to, like, I think that it's nasty and ugly to be into speculating about people's stuff and making assertions like that. It's gross.
Dude, if it looks like a duck and walks like a duck, dude, it's a duck. Okay,
But it doesn't.
Got what I'm thinking.
But that's just.
Look what.
But no, I just said. But and engage that point. Isn't it gross and wrong to get into gossip and speculation like that?
Yeah, but look what happened.
I know. Yeah, but you said yeah, right? You said yeah.
Yeah, but look.
Ain't no
but
yeah,
see,
but.
But look what's happened.
No buts.
You know, everybody sits back and doesn't do anything, and the next thing you know, you got
the people who right. Wait.
Drag queen story hour in first grade, and some teacher putting a dress on.
And what good does gossip and slander on a? There's already plenty about evil about Obama without speculating about his personal life.
Well, first off, he was, you know, if y'all can't tell that he was installed, okay, you know what I'm saying? He wasn't, you know, they handpicked the kid when he was little, I heard, okay?
Maybe so.
It was
I don't know. But all of this stuff about, like, calling him that, you calling him that, is not going to, even if the whole world called him that, that would not stop. That would not stop the madness going on. So ain't no yeah, but.
Yeah, right. Well, in other words, you're saying they're still just going to be evil no matter what. Okay, like
no, but and you're kind of contributing to the evil because you're contributing to this culture of just talking about people like and making up stuff. You don't want to make up stuff.
Well, it's because I'm a little older than you, and I remember how it was, and
I remember how it was.
Yeah, but not like we remember how it was.
Does
like Bill and Alan that was just on the line.
I remember when men didn't gossip and make up stuff about each other.
No, you know what they used to do? They just go beat them up. Okay, get what I'm saying? So the gays stayed in the closet. You there?
You think that's good?
It worked.
How did it work? Look at where we are now. How did it work?
Well, it worked back then before Obama came in, is what I'm telling you.
No,
Obama
but it led to
all that stuff.
I argue that some of that stuff was an overreaction to evil that led to Obama coming in. And they started coming out with sob stories. Remember hearing about Matthew Shepard or whatever that guy's name was? Do you ever hear of Matthew Shepard?
No.
There was this gay guy named Matthew Shepard.
Oh, they drug him down the road behind a truck or something?
Something like that. And he was gay, right? But they pretended like it was a gay, anti-gay attack, right? But it wasn't.
Okay.
It wasn't actually. He was murdered because he was a druggie, from what I understand, based on what Cernovich said. They murdered him because he got involved in like drug stuff, but they made a whole hate crime thing out of it because it was believable to some people that he was murdered just for being gay.
Right.
But and would you agree with murdering somebody just because they're gay, or would you Right,
no,
that's.
But I'm not going to invite them over for dinner. Okay?
Nobody's saying they are. So that led to that overreaction to evil pulled on the women's heartstrings. Oh no, they shouldn't be hated just because they're degenerate. Love is love. So they made up all kinds of fake victimhood stories, just like they did with the blacks. You know how whites sometimes overreacted to blacks and did wrong to blacks way back in the past? And same thing that they're doing with the gays. It came out with all this propaganda. So doing evil spreads evil, even if you're doing evil against evil. So
in other words, like when old Bubba Wallace threw a noose into his car and said some white guy did it or something, or what was the guy's name who the Jesse Smollett case? Okay,
yeah,
and you know if he was white, he would have served his time, bro. There's no way that a white person would have not done the 6 months or whatever it was that he was supposed to go to jail or whatever. That is, that just shows you right. To see that right there is why I don't watch none of this stuff no more. Okay, I'll watch your show, but I don't watch the news because of that craziness. How do you go, pull off something like Jesse did, tell the world I'm innocent and all this and that when he's guiltier than hell, and the dude gets off, okay?
Yeah.
So, but the same-sex marriage caused all kinds of problems. It caused insurance rates to go up because now you had all these people that were, gay and lesbian that got married, and now this person's on this other person's insurance plan now.
Oh yeah, and it's not healthy to be into that stuff. It's like they tend to be more into S out of wedlock and sleeping around and unfaithful and also they do stuff that may contribute to more like cancer and all kinds of diseases and stuff. It's not right.
Well, remember back in the
they want to charge. They want to charge smokers more for their health insurance, but how come they're not charging these guys for health insurance? That's some high risk nastiness.
Right. Well, they wanted to. They were more concerned about the bathhouses in San Francisco when AIDS first came out than them dying. Okay, because they wanted to close down the bathhouses because they thought it was coming from them.
Yeah.
Until they figured out it was a blood disorder, okay?
Oh.
And the way they figured out it was a blood disorder was when the first baby was born with AIDS, and that's how they really figured it out. But like in the Bible, this is how wicked it was in Sodom and Gomorrah. God sends two angels to get Lot and his family out of the joint, and the people in Sodom and Gomorrah want to have sex with the angels.
Yeah, what a mess.
So,
I got you, man.
In other words, people, you need to figure out what God says before you need to listen to these idiots out there that are just constantly trying to divide us, okay? Because that's really what's been going down for the last 60 years is they just want to keep us all divided, and it's terrible. I mean, but I'm a registered Republican, but I know more now that I look at the Bushes, they were just as much a problem as Clinton and Obama and all that, Gore and all that. Now let me tell you something. When Trump's out, when he gets out this time, I feel that I got a feeling that these Dems might win again and get back in this thing. Okay, I really do, because J.D. Vance is not Trump. You get what I'm saying?
Oh my gosh! Sorry. Yeah. J.D. Vance is totally not Trump. I mean,
who are you going to put in there? Ted Cruz? I mean, give me a break, okay? So I just, I just want anyway. I don't think the Republican Party's in good shape after Trump's out. That's all I got to say. All right.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree with you on that. Take care,
man.
All
right. Later on. Y'all have a great day. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Man, oh man. Sorry guys, I'm distracted. I turned on over on punchy.tv. I turned on Anchor Baby's server, not my own. I'm shaking my head. So I wasn't live on Punchy TV in the world. I got some more super chats, guys. Oh, but yeah, I better read these super chats. Okay, I'm going to try to do this efficiently, if possible. Cesar, sup, Hake? Don't let Ronnie fool you. He was just as emotional by not answering a simple question. Yeah, I know, huh? Kind of like Leah, or Lee. Didn't spell it exactly right. But the lady who called JLP today also was emotional and couldn't answer a simple question. Jesse had to hang up on her as well. Indeed, man. On another note, what are your thoughts on Casey Anthony? That woman did she kill her husband or kids or something? You know, the chick who was acquitted of being accused of killing her baby years ago in Florida? You think she could have done it, in your opinion? I didn't really follow it closely. What? Caylee, Anthony? No. Casey Anthony. Why are you taking me to Caylee Anthony? Casey Anthony. What? Okay. Yeah. 39-year-old woman now. She got off, huh? What's the update? Is there a supposed update from a couple of days ago? The jury acquitted her. Maybe because she was pretty. I don't know. I was under the impression that she did it, but I didn't really pay attention. Most hated mom. Casey Anthony returns to the spotlight. That was March. A Fox News little thingamajigger. Casey Anthony murder trial. Yeah, so did she murder her kid? Casey Anthony, the Florida mother, controversially acquitted of killing her only child. It's one of the state's most notorious murder cases more than a decade ago. Launched a new career as a legal advocate. Oh, yeah, she joined TikTok as a new career. That's funny. Oh, death of Caylee, Anthony. Oh, okay. Well, we're not supposed to know about the kid. You're supposed to forget about the kid and remember the mother. Caylee Marie Anthony. Shows you how out of touch I am. And so much for efficiency, right? American toddler, less than 3 years old, lived in Orlando with her mother, Casey Marie Anthony. Caylee Marie and Casey Marie, okay. Born in 86, the mother, and her maternal grandparents, mother's parents. July 15th, 08, she was reported missing in a 911 call made by Cindy, I guess the mother? Yeah, George and Cindy Anthony. Oh, Casey Anthony, for some reason, single mother. Was she a single mother? Because they all have the same last name, Anthony. And the mother is supposed to take the father's name. She had not seen the child for 31 days, and then she called 911. That's a long time to be waiting. Per what Cindy told police dispatchers, Casey had given varied explanations as to Caylee's whereabouts before eventually saying she had not seen her daughter for weeks. Casey later called police and falsely told the dispatcher that Caylee had been kidnapped by a nanny June 9th. Casey was charged with first-degree murder in 08, pleaded not guilty. On December 11th, 08, 6 months later, right? Something like that? Is that July? July to December? Something like that, maybe less. 5. Caylee's skeletal remains found in a blanket inside a laundry bag in a wooded area near the Anthony family residence. Okay, so, yeah, I think she did it. I don't know, man. I think she's guilty. Am I wrong for saying that? I think she did it. Not could have. I think she did it. Cesar. And of course, the views expressed do not represent Hake or Bond or JLP. And she was acquitted, and now she's running a legal thing. So, Casey, you're a beautiful woman, and you were found not guilty. Maybe you can explain what happened, because I didn't follow it at all. I didn't follow the facts of the case. This is my first real introduction into. Maybe I was exposed to those details before, but I don't remember it at all. So shout out, she's innocent unless proven guilty. And she might have been proven guilty, but the jury said, oh, she's pretty, let her. Or who knows what. You know, you can't trust court decisions anymore. But shout out to her. I don't know if she's still on TikTok 6 months later. Eric, 5 coffees. You really sent me over on a little thing there, buddy. Cesar, Casey, Anthony, I was like, Caylee, not Caylee. Yes, it was Caylee. Okay, so Eric, Nick is not dividing the party. He's stating the truth. The truth is dividing the party. Just as there's a right and wrong way to divide, right? Jesus divided, and then Obama divided for evil and with lies. Jesus divided with the truth. Nice. Nice. Division. Nick division. Another from Cesar or Cesar. That's true, Cesar or Cesar. Good point about his gaslighting. Not answering cues directly. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Cesar, Obama recently said he recommends young boys to have gay mentors. Yeah, huh? What kind of straight man would ever say that? Because that is not a straight man. He's not morally straight, but in terms of the S word thing, where there's smoke, there's fire, man. Have a great week, everybody. I respectfully disagree with you and that man because you don't know that in the world. Why would you speculate about what he's into just because his mind is messed up? You heard Ronnie, and Ronnie's so-called straight as a rooster. But not morally straight, not thinking straight. He thinks deviantly, deviates. He deviates from the question and the point. So in terms of the thinking, in terms of the morality, not right. But the S word, why are you even thinking like that? Why do you think about that? It's gross. Like I showed over here, it's shameful even to, whatever. Anyway, you guys get the point. Stick with what you know, you know? Okay, nice Obama stuff. Oh, my goodness. If I mosey on back over here to the Hake report and check over on the YouTube Super Chats, I would be remiss. I'm already remiss if you think about it. In my failure. Come on, what in the world? I'm such a boomer with this trackpad thing. Look at this. It's ridiculous. All right. Look at this. I'm so annoyed. Why? Why must you haunt me? Look at what it did, too. I zoomed all the way in, and I lost it. Nice. Bolghar says, God gave us one light for the day and one for the night. We see them the same size, eclipses. The world tells us one is 400 times farther or further and 400 times larger. Let me zoom out a little bit so we can see the username in full. I wonder if I just did this. Pop out chat. That might be the answer. So much for efficiency, right? Not efficient at all. If I go over here and do this. Nice. Bolghar Wolf. Isn't that so much better? All right, so he thinks that this is space denial, flat Earth stuff, I guess. Yeah, they look like. I don't know, man. I think that it makes sense. Bolghar. So he's I think he thinks that the moon and the sun are the same size and they're the same distance away and they're inside the firmament. Am I right, or am I reading way too much into the thingy there? And I've noticed that if I shine a light on my stomach, it'll reflect light back onto like the wall or something, and it's like a nice dimmer light. And so too with the moon. The moon is like the stomach that the sun is shining on. The stomach reflects back a nice little reflective dimmer light back to Earth. So yeah, man, it makes just look at it. Anyway, John Zimmer. Sorry, John. I try not to say the last name. John Z. 6496. Those who say don't hate the player, hate the game, tend to argue with constant perversions of the game. Quote unquote. To some, it's not a game. To most, it is. Silly, crazy, suffering gamers. Is that something that he said? Did Ronnie say that or something? I wish I knew the timestamp of when these things came in. Let's see if I can turn on timestamps. I have the timestamps turned on, but it doesn't tell me when the thing came in the world. Look at all this stuff I can do as the channel owner. Should we see who the kings are? John, Bolgar, Rex, Ike. Isn't Ike kind of black? He's a hater. Shout out, Ike. You're 4th place. You don't even get a medal. 5th, Thormode. Does Thormode have like a high-pitched voice? He sounds like... It sounds so manly, and then he has like a high-pitched voice. Or am I wrong, Thormode? Am I doing him dirty? Lioness Chase he probably isn't even listening to Hake. He's probably just chatting with you guys, huh? Chase, do you listen to Hake, or do you just chat with the chat? What's up, LARPing, Kevin, Terry? How long have I been communist, Terry? I was born communist. I was born in sin. M. Madrano, Lori. Look at all you guys. Come on, man. Hater and misinterpreter galore. Mark. See, Saladito. Look at all you guys. I skipped some. Frog teeth? Does that say frog teeth? Do frogs even have teeth? They're scary. Anyway, you guys. Oh, Lord. All right, so let me announce. Make sure you catch the anchor, baby. All right, do it. Stephen in Maryland is a caller, a question about the occupation. What occupation? I'm not sure. Jermaine in Canada is on the line here, and he has a, Lord have mercy. And he has a question or a comment about marriage. Rick in Hampton, VA wanted to address this happy life, happy wife thing. William 7 had a comment about Veterans Day. Somebody just hung up, but I think I took a screenshot before you could hang up. John in Houston, Texas had a question about life. And the rest of the callers and supporters. I'm going to have to wrap things up, you know? It's terrible. And I don't like not playing music. So let me do this. Let me do this nice song at the end, okay? Peace in the Middle East, or at least in your hearts. Like I said, American Anchor Baby is coming up next. I don't like these abrupt things where I get to a call, it's like 30 seconds. I do kind of like that, but adios, America. Bye.
Don't take the bait. You know they are fake. Just stop and wait. You could see the hate. There's no debate.
Oh,
listen to Hake News.
Bye, guys. You guys are priority tomorrow. Take care.